I turned 35 this year. My girlfriend of 6 years decided she was no longer in love. She left drunk in the middle of the night 3 months ago and didn't come back until it was time to pack. I am 2 years sober, a recovering alcoholic. Her mental health and substance abuse were getting out of hand, to the point where, despite me being fresh home from a detox center, she had to come home drunk regularly. The last time I saw her for our closure talk, she was hungover and drank 3 to 4 drinks to get through the meal, so I know it's for the best. But still, I'm feeling overwhelmed and wondering about the usual things. Every woman my age seems to already have kids and either does not want more or has no desire to have them at all. Do I have to hope I accidentally end up with a younger woman? Dating has changed so much in 6 years. I'm kind of a broken mess right now. She left right before my birthday and 2 surgeries I have had to heal from alone. I guess I'm looking for stories of how it worked out for others because things are looking pretty grim right now. Story 1. I quit my job and went back to school at 31, then graduated at 33 and found my career. I thought I was doing well. I developed a drinking problem and eventually entered a 2.5-year relationship that wasn't good for me. She left me, and at 37 I got sober. Later that year, I met the love of my life, and we have been happily married for 8 years. There is always a chance for a new beginning. You just have to keep moving forward, living wholeheartedly, and according to your principles. Good luck, my friend. Story 2. In my 30s, I earned a degree, built a career, purchased a house, and found someone who loves me as much as I love them. So yes, it can be done. Life is a long road, and sometimes you may trip and graze a knee. It will sting for a while, but then you will heal, get back up, and continue your journey. Trust me, I have been there, we all have. Story 3. I reset my life many times before 40. I married right out of school and divorced in my mid-20s. I fell into a cycle of self-loathing and partying, spending everything I earned, which was substantial, and I ended up in debt in my early 30s. Thank goodness I worked hard and took a chance on starting my own company, leaving a good corporate job. I reset again after my company finally succeeded, and we sold it. I had a series of serious relationships between my 30s and early 40s that failed. 1. I was physically and emotionally abused by one partner, from whom it took a year to extricate myself. I was cheated on by a live-in girlfriend. I ended an engagement when something didn't feel right. She turned into a bridezilla, and her true self emerged as a stereotypical gold digger once the ring was on her finger. I met my wife in my 40s, got married, and we have 3 kids. Now, in my 50s, I have achieved my dream of a house with a white picket fence. Keep your chin up and strive to be the best version of yourself every day. Story 4. I am in my mid-30s and recently broke up with someone who is in early recovery from alcoholism. I don't really have an answer for you except to say that the loneliness of being single again is better than the loneliness I felt in that relationship. It was really hard coming home to find my partner passed out on the couch or not hearing from her for an entire day while I checked the news to see if she had wandered into the street while intoxicated. You deserve someone who respects your recovery and isn't knowingly triggering you while you're trying to get sober. Right now, I am focusing on myself and reconnecting with the parts of me that were neglected while I was attempting to make the relationship work. I trust that I will meet someone new when the time is right. Story 5. Divorced and became a single father of 2 girls at 35. I lost my business a year later and ended up nearly homeless, so my daughters and I moved in with my father. 6 months later, I unexpectedly met a woman, and things have just clicked since then. We bought a house together after our first year, and now, almost 20 years later, I can say that everything worked out for the best for everyone. Story 6. My stepfather didn't meet my mother until he was 47. He had his first child when he was 50 and didn't start earning money for the family until he was 55 or 56. He is the most generous, kind, and thoughtful person I know. It surprises me that it took him so long. Life is not linear, and growth does not occur on a set timeline. Story 7. At 33 years old, I left the country where I was working and moved to Slovenia, with no job, no contacts, and no knowledge of the language. It has been 2 years, and everything has turned out for the best. My quality of life has improved significantly, and I am happy. Story 8. I divorced my high school sweetheart in my early 30s. About 6 years later, life has never been better. There were some extraordinarily hard times earlier on. I think at this point I would be less worried about the future. I try to focus more on getting through the day and adjusting to my new life. Although I know that it's easier for me to say than it is for you to do. When I got divorced, someone told me that in order to move on, I had to want to. Definitely process your emotions, but don't stay stuck in them forever. Allow yourself to be sad for a while, but then go out and force yourself to live. Try new things, go to new places, whatever calls to you. Story 9. At 35, I gave up what little I owned. I took only my 2 cats with me, along with my PlayStation 4 and television. I slept in a friend's basement while attending college. I achieved honors in my field, and my salary is now double compared to my previous job. It has worked out, but it's not easy. It's mentally exhausting, yet it can be worth it. Story 10. Well, I am 33 years old and gave up on love when I was 29. After my girlfriend left, I kind of spiraled into a doom phase. For a long time, I felt like it was all hopeless and accepted that I would be alone forever. I never even tried to put myself out there. But then, a month ago, this gorgeous girl slid into my messages and gave me hope that there are still good people out there. I know it seems difficult right now, and that you feel like your world has been turned upside down. However, things can improve. Life may not turn out the way you imagined, but it can still be wonderful. It is okay to take your time to heal and get better. Life is an experience, and each one is different. There is no predetermined path you are supposed to follow. You get to explore it your own way. No matter how dark the night is, dawn will always bring the light of a new day. Story 11. The positive part of my life didn't begin until my divorce at 32. Since then, I have experienced personal growth. I enjoyed a productive dating phase for a few years and ultimately settled down with someone who is much healthier for me. You haven't missed your opportunity for children either. A lot of the attention I received was from women in their mid to late 20s, and my fiancé is 7 years younger than me. Story 12. I met my former girlfriend when I was 29 years old. We were together for 10 years and married for another 10, making a total of 20 years so far. This came after I ended a 6-year relationship that was going nowhere. I never saw myself marrying or even living with my ex. We ended it amicably. Story 13. I cannot provide a personal story, as I do not have one, but I hope everything works out for you. Story 14. I was just about to hit my 30th birthday when September 11th happened. I quit my job as a grocery store manager and joined the army. I was in Iraq for the ground invasion and deployed 7 more times before I retired. The army provided my family and me with better opportunities and quality of life than running a grocery store ever could. Somewhere along the way, my wife developed a severe alcohol addiction. She was just starting her recovery when I retired. She has been sober since, but still thinks and acts like an addict. We have been married for 25 years. Things are not well between us at the moment. The career change in my early 30s worked out great for me. My wife became someone unrecognizable, though. Do not seek out someone simply to make you happy. Instead, find someone worthy of your love and time to share your happiness with. Story 15. After spending over a decade in the army, I was honorably discharged and found myself needing to start my life over again in my mid-30s. My wife was expecting our first child, and I didn't have much experience beyond being a soldier. I enrolled in college using the GI Bill and graduated when I was 38, while our son was about 2. I am in my 50s now, and everything seems to be going fine. Story 16. Financially, 2008 was challenging, and my net worth was negative until around age 33. Currently, I am on track to retire early. Story 17. At 33, I got divorced from my partner of 17 years. It was a major life event, and my whole world fell apart. I can't say things are great yet. I dislike my job and myself, and I don't have enough money. I'm still going through a difficult time, but thank you for sharing these stories. I really needed to hear them. Story 18. I am 34 and left my abusive girlfriend. Being alone is serene. Embrace it and don't pressure yourself. If you want a family and are open about it, all the doors are open for you. It is very easy to find a girlfriend if you are committed. Story 19. I have full custody of my younger children. My adult kids love me and dislike their mother. I still haven't financially recovered, but I love my children more than money. Story 20. It took a few years, but eventually, life became wonderful. One of the best decisions of my life was leaving that relationship. I exchanged a relationship that was dragging down every aspect of my life for one that uplifts everything. Story 21. It did indeed. I got divorced at 31 and am now 38, doing great personally and financially. I haven't had much luck dating, but I find I'm not alone in my age group. Plus, the desire to try hard just hasn't been there. I'm content. Story 22. I have started over multiple times. I'm in my 50s now, and I'm about to do it again. It's a bet on yourself, and you can only do it properly if you believe in yourself. Betting on yourself and succeeding, even if the outcome is different from what you originally envisioned, is normal as you learn and grow. This is all part of taking a leap of faith. Story 23. At the age of 35, I made significant life changes by divorcing my wife. She struggled with various addictions that I could no longer manage, and our children were in high school and college. I gave her everything just to find my freedom. Now at 52, I have a second wife who is truly a life partner. We own our home and 2 cars, and we enjoy a good life together. My children understood the situation, and I have a strong relationship with them as adults, which is a contrast to my previous marriage. You will be okay. It's normal to feel overwhelmed for a while. I experienced that too, but over time, things can and will improve. Story 24. I started over 2 years ago when my ex cheated on me and left after 4 years. I was 33. I moved out of her house and into an apartment. This is not my hometown, so I didn't have any friends except for one guy I met through work, with whom I occasionally had happy hours. In the last 8 months, I've made several friends, including a group of 5 guys who are now my weekly golf buddies. I met a fantastic lady 2 months ago who is showing me what a true partner is actually like. Things looked quite dark a couple of years ago, but now everything is going great. Keep your head up. Story 25. A statement that I agree is true. You must love yourself first before you can truly love someone else. Work on loving yourself. Only you can provide happiness, a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, and a sense of success. Your opinion must matter most to you. You must believe the good things you know, find, and develop about yourself. It seems like you are looking for someone else to provide a sense of love, belonging, and success in your life. After many decades, I have found that you need to make yourself happy, satisfied, and believe in yourself first. There will be many times in your life when you will be alone for various reasons. That's true for everyone. What you do with that time and how you learn to enjoy it and prosper will make you stronger. Don't look to others for approval, belonging, and love. When you are mentally and physically healthy, when you are happy and in love with yourself, not being conceited or selfish, others will be attracted to you and want to be around you. Beware not to fall into the pitfalls of providing for others, whether physically or emotionally, or allowing them to provide for you. True love must be voluntary and freely given. It is always a thread's width away from being taken away. Believe in yourself and be grateful for what you have. Sounds like you have youth, health, intelligence, and empathy. Start there. Find activities that you enjoy and feel proud to do with your time. Even knowing many couples, some married for decades, who like to project happiness and contentment, they may not be happy on the inside. Only you can make yourself happy. Story 26. Yes, trust everyone here when we say things will get better. A general rule of thumb is that it takes about half the amount of time spent with someone to get over them. However, when someone was holding you back, I believe the recovery can improve in a matter of weeks and months. You got this. Story 27. Depends on what you mean by work out. I divorced my ex, and the divorce was final a couple of months before I turned 34. During the divorce, I met a woman who was 22. We got together, and I thought I was starting a lifelong relationship. I moved back to the state I will always consider home. She came out a few months later. I struggled to find a job, finally got one, was getting by with a little left over, and slowly climbed out of the hole the divorce left me in. Her parents didn't like me, so they constantly worked on her to get her to leave. They were both enthusiastic about financial markets, and my not making much gave them all the reason they needed to convince her to leave. She finally did just before Christmas of 2012. A couple of months later, I started the job I currently have, which I had been hesitant to even apply for because of the travel and my reluctance to be away that much. But being single again, suddenly the travel didn't matter. So now I'm 11 years into a job that pays pretty well, with the option of making almost twice what I make now by doing more travel and overtime, or going exempt and being dedicated to the company but receiving various benefits. I have a good house on a few acres out in the country, next to public land. I live in the state I want to be in. I have basically zero stress. I do what I want with my time. I could take a position at home, but I would face another pay cut, and I don't want to do that just yet. Starting over in your 30s is challenging at the time, but it's not truly a big deal. You still have plenty of time to fix things. There's no way I would start over again now in my mid-40s. Story 28. It's a similar story for me. I lived with my ex for 5 years, and I bought her an engagement ring, a dog, and a house. 1.5 years before our breakup, I got clean from opiates, but her cocaine use was increasing significantly. This culminated in her cheating on me in our home and taking the dog in 2021. I was devastated. It took time and effort, but about 3 years later, I am mostly happy and content with my new dogs and supportive friends and family. I'm still single, but I've had success in dating. I just haven't found the right person yet. If you put in the work now, focus on self-improvement and seek therapy, you will get through this. I'm not sure if your situation is similar, but I had to be diligent about not wallowing in my sorrows by just sitting around feeling sorry for myself, which I did for about 4 to 6 months. Once I pulled myself off the couch and started moving, realizing that life is too short to accept misery, things began to improve, and it became easier as time went by. Story 29. I am 35 years old, never been married, and unable to have children. Dating people my age was difficult because they all wanted kids. I am currently dating an older man and working on getting my life back on track after leaving my career due to burnout and depression from my situation. Starting over does not have an age limit. Do what makes you happy, and if that includes healing for a few years, that is perfectly fine. Story 30. I was married at 26, divorced at 36, and had 2 small children. I was drinking to cope with my sorrows, received a driving under the influence charge, and got sober at 37. I did the work with sponsors, therapists, and psychiatrists to improve my mental health, then focused on my physical health. Dating from 37 to 45 has been amazing. I've had a couple of multi-year relationships, and now I'm with the woman I plan to marry. Focus on improving yourself, build a supportive network of friends in recovery, and avoid relationships for a specific period until you learn how to be alone. It gets better if you invest in yourself. Story 31. I received an unexpected divorce from my children's mother on my 36th birthday. I was devastated, and to be honest, I'm not the same person 12 years later. However, I continued to work and maintained 50% of my time with the kids, which has been great. My children are old enough now to visit me whenever they want, which happens pretty often. I also receive a lot of random texts and calls from them. Since the divorce, I have started a new career, and even during a slow year, I am doing well. It is beneficial that my wife is very successful in her career and supportive in many other ways. I never thought I would become a divorced man, and after that, I never imagined I would have it this good. Keep rolling with the punches. You will find your way again. Story 32. I started a new career at 43, earning $17 an hour. 10 years later, I became the assistant chief, making over $90,000. It was challenging, but I persevered and got through it. Story 33. You are in your prime. I met my girlfriend when I was 34 and she was 26. Many women are interested in a man in his mid-30s. Story 34. It can happen if you apply yourself. My ex-wife had an affair and left after 12 years. I was in my mid-30s with 2 children. I started running more, lost some weight, and continued working out every day. After my divorce, I began dating again and got married 7 years later. I took a new job about 5 years ago and also started working on my doctoral degree. I never realized how difficult my first marriage was until I started dating again. I would have been complacent in my life if my ex had not cheated. Take this as an opportunity to discover yourself and work on becoming a better person. Join some clubs, find a hobby, and don't focus on dating right away. I worked on myself for 1.5 years before I put myself out there. Story 35. It sounds like you dodged a bullet. Maintain hygiene, go out, take care of things with your own hands, such as house chores, do not procrastinate, and continue to learn new skills. Once you have these basics down, you are beginning to live life. Many men under 40 are still living with their parents and do not know how to shave, shower, cook, or clean. However, they are supposedly adults. Good luck, and congratulations on dodging a bullet. Your ex sounds like a rare find. There are many average women out there. Story 36. Men who started over in their 30s. Did it work out? Yes. I'm now better than I've ever been since my childhood. Sometimes I even feel guilty for that because the overall situation in my country is challenging. Story 37. We had our second son, and I supported us through 2020 at a job where I was miserable. She returned to work after 9 months and took a position for which she wasn't ready. I started a job that required a lot of hours, and I realized I needed to figure myself out. When I had issues with the constant weekend bar trips, it led to arguments. We split in 2021. I lost my job and started a new one with slightly fewer hours but better benefits. I met my fiancée almost 3 years ago. She supported me through every battle and fight even though I wasn't anywhere close to healed. We endured a roller coaster of emotions and challenges for a while. I found a better job with higher pay, fewer hours, and the same benefits. Keep going. Don't stop until you find what you need and want out of life. Story 38. I can speak from experience. It was tough starting over, but after the initial shock wore off and time passed, I became myself again. I still had to co-parent with someone I wasn't excited to talk to anymore, which wasn't easy. However, I ended up finding my wife, my career improved, my happiness increased, and I had the capacity to enjoy life like it was brand new. Keep your head down, stay sober, find hobbies you love, and focus on those. It will all work out, so keep an eye open for silver linings and opportunities along the way. Congratulations on a new chapter in your story. Story 39. I got divorced and simultaneously started a new career in my late 30s. Now I'm in my 40s. I'm doing all right. I travel a lot, which has resulted in a very different lifestyle than I ever had before. I've had many casual relationships with various women. I have a woman or two in several different cities, so when I visit those cities, I spend time with them. Starting a family is probably not an option for me. A real long-term relationship or marriage is questionable. I've met very few women I believe are marriage material. Many of those who are realistically too young for me to consider, and honestly, I don't know if I have the capacity to develop strong feelings for someone at this point. Anyway, it's not a fairy tale, but I'm fine. Story 40. Not in the way I hoped. New things happened, but not really what I wanted. Sometimes you just have to keep going, no matter what. Story 41. I have my own place, bought a motorcycle, and own a car and a truck. I have 2 puppy dogs. Women will come and go, but focus on yourself and stay true, and the right ones will be attracted to you. Story 42. I have done it twice. First after my divorce at 40, which was amicable, then again after a failed relationship at 51, which was not so amicable. Learn your lessons and realize that the only one responsible for your happiness is you. My current relationship has enough distance that we are not tripping over each other every day, and it works. Story 43. I went through a challenging divorce, changed careers, and spent 6 years working remotely while exploring the world. You only get so many opportunities to pivot your life, and I feel it's important to seriously consider taking them. Story 44. I am 29, and my girlfriend decided I was not good enough anymore after 2.5 years. Despite my best efforts to be the best partner I can be, I felt really good during those years. Figuring out how to pick up the pieces has been difficult. I was a good partner and have been doing the right things, but my insecurities, particularly my eating disorder, make it hard to feel like I am good enough. Story 45. I moved across the country with my girlfriend when I was 27. We broke up by 28, but I stayed in the mountains because I feel at home here. By 32, I was married and had a child. At 35, I started my own business. 39, I got divorced. Now at 43, I am the happiest I have ever been, and I regret nothing. Story 46. It remains to be seen. I lost 3 good years of my prime to a girl who ended up being violently mistreated by her cousin and cheated on me several times. She then married him after discovering he was unfaithful and that he had a child, to whom she would become a stepmother. During our relationship, I offered her everything: financial support and an escape from her abusive family and relatives. I lost significant opportunities just to be there for her. I am in decent shape, have a business, and have been in the news. Many girls around her have told her that they like me and find me attractive. Never again. No relationship is worth that much. She wants to come back now for a potential second chance. Let's see how it plays out. Story 47. I get chills reading your post. I started over at 43, and it has been 7 years of hard work. But happiness is a glittering lure that comes and goes. I have a great circle of friends, my career is thriving, and my kids came to me as they grew up. Now I have the courage to improve things even more by quitting alcohol. If you can do that, you are more than capable. I know there will be people cheering you on, and when things are together in your 40s, others will be attracted to you. You have this. Story 48. I would say it's less about starting over and more about starting for the first time. I worked a job that was going to be a moderately okay career as a shift manager at a pet store, and I had a creeping suspicion it was not for me. I didn't socialize, I wasn't good at my job, and although I was passionate about the subject, I struggled with pet care management and management in general. My life changed significantly at 28, and I ended up working in a new field that I am no more or less passionate about, but I am more responsible for myself and less for others. My life now has better hours and improved advancement opportunities. I obtained a degree and I am moving to a new city for a new job in a few weeks. As for dating, I am uncertain. I worry I might need to date someone younger to find someone without children, or come to terms with kids and co-parenting, or decide to remain child-free. You will get through this. Find a community or family to help you rebuild yourself. Acknowledge your feelings, but make sure to engage in activities that help you get out of your head. Story 49. Take a minimum of 1 year to work on yourself. Go on dates, but avoid entering into relationships. Focus on personal growth. Good luck finding a woman without children, but establish a standard and adhere to it. I was 31 when I met my current wife, and I had a standard of no more than 1 child. I have raised her son into a young man, and we have since had 2 children of our own. It has been a fun adventure. Story 50. It truly worked out for me. I have grown so much after a long-term relationship ended. I have become a version of myself that exceeds any expectations I have ever had. Invest in yourself and you will truly attract what is best for you. Story 51. Work on yourself in the near term and prepare for the divorce pool to open, starting in your late 30s. Divorce rates might be lower for our generation, but it will still be a reality. It may be hard for you to see it now, but 35 is still incredibly young. Imagine yourself at 55 looking back on this stage of life. Story 52. I will be 40 this November. I started over after a 4-year relationship where she left me unexpectedly to be with another man. At first, I was crushed, but after taking enough time to reflect and talk about it, I realized how wasted those 4 years of my life were. It's amazing how I knew from the beginning that this is exactly where I would end up. The strangest part is that whenever I post about this, she somehow finds my posts and claims she is experiencing similar things. It's ironic. Keep playing your games. Karma will catch up with you someday. I find it interesting how you keep blocking and unblocking me, and how you claim you are healed and hope for my healing as well. Of course, you feel healed. You left for another man while I suffered alone. You blocked me on everything because you knew what you did was wrong. You will never understand the pain you caused me, and my only regret in life is allowing you to have that chance to hurt me. Story 53. I am looking for stories of success because things feel pretty grim right now. Sadly, it may take time to improve. Seeking therapy is important. You will need support. Focus on yourself and do not rely on someone else for happiness until you can find it within yourself. It will likely take several years and a significant amount of effort to get yourself together. Once you do, you will discover many dysfunctional individuals seeking a stable partner, along with a limited number of well-adjusted individuals. A common message from therapists is that we often connect with people at a similar level of dysfunction. People who are needy tend to find partners who desire to be needed. Abusers and those willing to be abused often find each other. Narcissists typically connect with individuals who prefer to reflect and avoid rather than engage. Alcoholics attract drinking companions, and those who seek control often find individuals who see themselves as perpetual victims. Conversely, individuals who are well-adjusted tend to attract others who are also well-adjusted. Story 54. Chin up, buddy. You are on the right path. Stick with it, and the gap between you will only become clearer. Start building a new life. Story 55. My 30s were challenging. I have been single and sober since 2019. My early 40s are going well. If you can, consider getting a dog. I might get another one. Focus on yourself and be selfish. Do only what you want to do, but always be kind. I may date again or I may not. Story 56. Wow, bravo, gentlemen. Thank you for all the supportive words. I wrote this post as I was going to bed, so I'll elaborate a little more. I'm definitely not looking for someone at the moment. I had surgery in May, which ended in a complication that required another surgery. As a result of blood loss, I've developed severe anemia. Until these iron supplements and liver dinners do their magic, I'm focusing on getting my health back. Most days, I feel like I've been drugged. Anemia is much worse than just feeling tired, but it will get better. It has been brutal to go through this alone, and I have some resentment over being abandoned during this time. My big fear is that after focusing on myself for several years, I'll wake up and realize my opportunity for a relationship has passed. However, reading these comments, I know I have plenty of time. Being 45 is a whole decade away. It may sound like I'm worrying about relationships too early, but I'm not in a rush. Starting a family has always been my dream. Having had a rough childhood, I always wanted to be the father mine wasn't. Like many men my age, I have a fear of waking up and realizing that I missed my chance, but that's just fear. I'm 35. It'll be fine. Over the last couple of years, my ex grew to resent the spiritual changes I gained in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I was made to believe I was some grumpy nag because we constantly fought about her mental state. However, in recent months, several people have said that I am quite inspiring, a great conversationalist, and a good listener. It's dawned on me just how much I actually have to offer. I made a lot of mistakes in my life and almost drank myself to death, which I'm not proud of. But like most people who have been through difficult times, I've also gained a lot of wisdom from it. I work as a bartender, which is quite a job for someone with a history of drinking. My sponsor is also my manager, so I've developed good social skills. I'm stylish, funny, and sweet. Most women I've dated have described me as a sweet teddy bear hiding in a big, stocky, heavily tattooed disguise. Women appreciate the contrast of a former bouncer with a soft side. I'm very supportive. There were days when my herniated disc was so bad that I would be limping, yet I still cooked dinner for my ex to help with her stressful day. I have a lot to offer, and the right person will come along when the time is right. I've been taking myself on dates and probably should do that more often. I went to see The Bike Riders for the second time and realized, oh wait, I really love movies and I love movie theaters. I used to see movies as often as I could, old second-run films and new releases. If you told me Paul Thomas Anderson was coming out with a new movie, it would be like saying, let's go to Disneyland. I have one more surgery to go, I need a hip replacement. All the alcohol has caused a vascular necrosis in my left hip, and it's quite painful. I'm going to sort out my body and health, enjoy the little things, and I'm sure someone special will show up. I believe there is a plan for me, and this is all part of it. Thank you again for the support, gentlemen. Class acts, each and every one of you. Story 57. First off, congratulations on your sobriety. That is a gift you have given to yourself that will pay off. I began anew in my mid to late 30s. I went through a divorce after years of financial abuse and constant feelings of disappointment. Finally, I could not take it anymore. I was concerned that life would be terrible after that. I worried my parents would disown me and that my children would resent me. I tend to be a pessimist, so my thoughts spiraled into negativity. I took it one day at a time. 5 years later, my life and outlook are much more positive. It is not easy, but realizing that a toxic person is not your primary source of love and affection is incredibly liberating. I hit the gym and focused on my career and friendships. I know that may sound generic, but it genuinely helped. Story 58. There is a YouTuber named Bricks Fitness whom I have watched. In his 30s, he weighed nearly 300 pounds, had a criminal record, and was broke. He also had 2 children. He managed to lose weight, build a career as a trainer, and be a good father. You might gain some insight from him. I do not agree with everything he thinks and says, but he truly transformed his life. If that interests you, consider checking him out. Story 59. As a woman who is almost the same age and in a similar situation, I certainly hope so. At the very least, know that there are women out there who, for one reason or another, didn't end up having a family but still want that. We are out there. I don't quite have a success story just yet. I met an incredibly gorgeous man, unlike anyone I'd ever known, who turned my world upside down a month and a half ago. But I definitely feel like this could be it. That brings me to my next point. In the meantime, when you feel able, try to focus on being kind to yourself, liking yourself, and healing. This is absolutely for your own sake, but also so you're prepared for when that person does stroll into your life, ensuring you don't inadvertently sabotage the entire thing. Wishing you all the very best going forward. Remember that all it takes is one day for your whole life to start shifting again. Be kind to yourself and don't give up, even though it can certainly feel hopeless sometimes. Story 60. I know it is difficult, but at least you are not married with children. I am a few months into the divorce process because she was unfaithful, so now I am dealing with attorneys, splitting assets, and a 4-year-old on top of the stress. Story 61. I left a 15-year relationship at 39 and changed careers at 41. I met an amazing woman when I wasn't even looking for a relationship. I have been married for 10 years now. My career has been great, and I am slowly winding down to enjoy more free time. Take care of yourself. Pursue your interests and what makes you happy. You can't rely on someone else to provide your happiness. Story 62. You need to focus on self-improvement and your career before considering a relationship. Partner should not be a priority at this time. Story 63. My ex left me last year, a week before our 13th anniversary. Since then, I've been working on overcoming my social anxiety, picking up new hobbies, and attending conventions and cosplay events. This last activity has also helped me get into the best shape I've ever been in, motivated by my desire to portray the characters well. I will turn 31 later this year. Story 64. I encountered some challenges in my early 30s. I improved my life, graduated from college, secured a remote job, met the love of my life, and began pursuing my master's degree. Start off small, such as making your bed every morning, showering, and wearing something simple like a t-shirt and jeans. Story 65. Congratulations on 2 years. I just reached 3 years last month. It's not easy, but it is doable. I'm in a similar situation with my girlfriend of almost 4 years. She is very successful, with several degrees and a good income as a nurse practitioner in mental health, but I've noticed she exhibits signs of being a functional alcoholic. She doesn't take care of herself as she should. She drinks excessively in one sitting, sometimes gets sick from it, and continues to drink afterward. She prioritizes going out with single friends and has started to drink and drive more frequently, and the list goes on. I was blind to it for a long time because I used to compare her actions to my own when I drank, thinking, at least she isn't as bad as I was. But that's not the case at all. It has gotten worse, and I've brought it up to her several times using different approaches. It's now to the point where I'm considering moving on because she doesn't seem to care. She is destroying herself and doesn't seem to notice, which is sad. Addiction is a terrible disease, but I know I'll be better off single and working on myself than trying to fix someone else's issues, especially if they're not ready to change. So, I think you'll be okay. Stay positive and continue to take it a day at a time. Story 66. I started over in my 30s, and it was challenging. I discovered that I have friends who are not based on a sexual relationship, and I cherish those connections. Men's basic instinct is to reproduce, but I find peace in knowing that I do not have to in order to be happy. 53. I am very happy. Story 67. If every woman your age doesn't want kids, then women slightly younger than you probably will. As long as you are both adults, there is no problem dating someone younger. Just be sensible about it. Story 68. I didn't meet the love of my life until I was 41. I got happily married at 44. She encouraged me to quit partying, and now we share common goals. I handle the finances while she does what she can. We are a team and she is my best friend. Is it super passionate? No, but that's fine. I opted for less drama and more tranquility in my later years. I also had an ex who struggled with addiction for 7 years, so I understand. You mentioned women wanting kids. Have you considered finding someone who has moved past that stage, perhaps in their early 40s? Story 69. I am going through something similar. I am 32 years old. I am about to take the girl I thought I would marry and settle down with to an inpatient care facility after work. From there, she will probably go to a shelter in a city about 2 hours away to be closer to her family. I do not have any children. I do not own a home. I do not know what I am going to do. I understand this is not what you wanted to hear right now, but you are not alone. We will figure it out. Story 70. Life is never a race. Just try not to hate each day and seek joy in every moment. I didn't start over in my 30s. I truly began in my 30s. Most of my 20s were spent working minimum wage jobs and struggling financially. I had no house, no apartment, no nice car, no relationship, no time, and no money. Don't worry about finding a relationship immediately. Go live your life. Allow yourself to heal. You should strive to lead a fulfilling life regardless of your relationship status. So go out, be happy, travel, pick up some hobbies, and enjoy life. Story 71. I totally understand your feelings about the dating scene. 17 years in relationships left me unprepared to be in my mid-30s and single. However, it can turn around. Start doing things for yourself. It may sound silly, but that was the scariest part for me. I spent about a year only going out once every couple of months to meet individual friends. Socializing felt intimidating. I figured if I couldn't do that, there was no way I could meet someone special. My daughter encouraged me to try dating apps. I started talking to women and discovered that I'm not as immediately unappealing as I thought. I met a wonderful girl, and things are going well. So, there is a success story for me, but you may need to change your perspective on what you want in a partner. Pursuing younger individuals has its own challenges, especially if you prefer not to drink, and a woman with children might not seem appealing to you. The truth is, opportunities will only present themselves when you put yourself out there. Story 72. The situation you were in for 6 years makes it understandable to question having children with an alcoholic. So, what's the harm in exploring your options with someone new? Many women in their 30s are single and desire children. Even if some do not currently want kids, they might change their minds when they meet the right person who makes them feel secure. Additionally, there are many women with one child who would love to have another. You are still within the age range of most women in their late 20s who are looking to settle down with a mature man who has his life together. There are plenty of options. Don't dwell on your toxic past. Moving forward, focus on reinventing yourself so that your next partner feels secure and happy about starting a family with you. Story 73. The truth is, you already know what to do, and things get better after you take action. If you're in a dark place, your reasoning is not faulty, and the voice in your head is not misguided. However, there will be no overnight changes. One push-up today, one walk outside today, one job interview, these actions will build up over time. It may feel slow and boring, and you might feel like life is unfair. Put more push-ups in the bank. You will benefit from them later. Story 74. Sure, it can work out. I divorced at 31. There was a gloomy phase for 1 to 2 years, and then it started improving. Now, I am almost 38 and life is great. I changed careers and have a fulfilling job, along with a great social and love life. I have been in a relationship for 5 years, although we do not plan to marry. I am in an open relationship, and casual dating on the side is easy. It was challenging when I first entered the dating scene. My advice is to focus on fixing any issues in your life rather than on dating. Once you have your life under control, everything will become easier. Work on yourself, but do not put any pressure on yourself. Everything will be fine. Story 75. There is a freshness of life in every moment. It is likely you will find a younger partner, as they often seek older and more stable individuals. Women typically settle down earlier for biological reasons, so they tend to begin their search for a serious partner at a younger age than men. Story 76. The stories of those who have successfully rebuilt themselves are reserved for individuals who enjoy their own time and company. This mindset will also attract a better partner for you. I understand it can get lonely at times, but based on experience, seeking out women to fill that void will often make it worse. It is a problem you need to solve on your own, and once you do, dating becomes much easier. Regarding the idea of dating younger women, do not shy away from it due to the stigma others may create. However, be reasonable about it. When you look at what women aged 23 to 35 typically seek, it is often a stable man who can contribute to her comfort and lifestyle and is enjoyable to be around. Men of the same age tend to be less mature and may be more interested in casual relationships. Women are often willing to date men who are 5 to 8 years older because these men are usually more stable financially, mentally, and spiritually. These men often appear more willing to commit. In summary, do not dismiss the possibility of dating younger women. Just be honest with yourself about what you have to offer to them and what they can offer to you. Are both of you happy to enter that compromise? If not, part ways amicably. There are plenty of people to date, so don't waste each other's time. Story 77. I am divorced with 3 children after being married for 7 years. New women find out I have 3 kids and often distance themselves, which is unfortunate but a reality I must accept. If I can overcome this challenge, then you can too. I often feel a sense of hopelessness, but be grateful you are not responsible for financial support despite her recklessness. I, however, find myself in a difficult situation. Hopefully, you can now enjoy life. Story 78. We'll see. I'm about to quit my job tomorrow because I have enough money now to remain work-free for 2 to 4 years. I will be focusing wholeheartedly on my projects, writing books, and other activities. Combined with active investments, I hope to make enough to eventually found my own game development studio. As for women and relationships, I've been putting that on the shelf for a while. We'll see if I return to that aspect once I've progressed further on my projects because I don't have time to commit fully to a romantic relationship at the moment. Plus, I want to improve my health a little more. I'm nearing 40, and I feel that if I want children, I would like to be somewhat financially secure and have completed a few projects first. There's no rush. I might live very healthily for a while and preserve some of my sperm for future insemination, as I've read that its quality declines with age. When or if I reach my primary goals, perhaps child conception through cloning is something to consider. For the record, I had a sort of flirtation with a younger woman, age 20, last year. I became romantically interested in her, but she seemingly did not have those feelings for me, even though she was definitely attracted. It was a complicated situation. My point is that in the 35 to 45 age range, it seems that it's not unusual for younger women to take interest in some men. So perhaps there is hope. Work on your charisma, get your life together, or at least make it look like you have it all together because I suspect that many women are looking for stability and experience in men. In summary, Be a gentleman and take care of your hygiene, and women might be drawn to you. It helps if you can be interesting too, I guess. So maybe keep acquiring knowledge about various topics and develop a hobby or two. I've noticed that creativity can also be very appealing. Conversely, this advice could work for women to attract certain types of men as well. Also, being a gentleman does not mean being chauvinistic. That's not attractive. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.